over the past decade, as you know, there's always been this sort of occasional worry that there's a liquidity mismatch, maybe not in the tips, but maybe in like a junk bond ETF. What do you think of those worries? Is there any validity to them, or is it just something that we should not worry about, even in a crisis situation?
No, I think there is not in the inflation-protected area, but I think in the high-yield area, certainly there will be. I mean, up until this point, the high-yield indices and some of the high-yield ETFs have held up relatively well compared to what I would have expected. I think that's probably because the economy has held up relatively well, 2 to 3 to 4%, and still above the line. But, you know, should we move down towards the recessionary 0 and lower, then it's, you know, certainly a situation where some of the triple Cs and even double Bs come under pressure. And so I wouldn't be investing in high-yield bonds or high-yield ETFs. I'd simply be looking for safer havens, and I've got a few.
Well, talk to us a little bit about some of those safer havens. We've talked about tips, for example. You're staying away from junk. Where else are you looking, though?
Well, my strongest feeling and my highest percentage holding, maybe 30% of the portfolio, are in are in oil pipelines that are partnerships. Therefore, they have taxes that are deferred until you sell them, and for an average holding period of about 5 years, that adds 2 or 3% to the adjusted yield, so to speak, to the pre-tax yield. And many of these ETFs are yielding 10, 11, 12%. The premier ETF, the largest and the premier in terms of quality, in my opinion, you know, is Energy Transfer. It's ET by symbol. It yields 10%. You know, is it dependent upon oil prices? Not too much, because it's close to its peak, and oil is not close to its peak. You know, it's dependent upon take-or-pay type of contracts. It's all over the country. It's a big liquid issue, and if you want 10% tax deferred in a partnership, if you're prepared to fill out the tax form, then fine, I'll take 10%, which is really a 12 or 13% pre-tax equivalent.